Welcome to SPOONI. Today I'm going to show you how to use the SPOONI prop deleter. The SPOONI prop deleter can delete props, such as this coach here, which is simply lying in the middle of the path. Yes, let's just do that together, I would have said. The config file looks like this. That's roughly here. You have two example zones in here, if you download the script from Keymaster. I now select a zone from the predefined ones and copy it back in here. Now I'll give the zone a name. I'll just call the zone test for the tutorial. It's very simple. And then we have various setting options. We can set the thickness. That's the height. Thickness means height in both directions, up and down from the Z coordinate. This means that you have marked a point and you go when you have set thickness 10. For example, 5 meter up and 5 meter down. I show you this in the game. I briefly looked at the mouse, you've got this box here, it says 10 as an example. Then it searches for the zone from top to bottom. I have now explained it to you with the fixed point. It's a bit easier to remember that it really means the thickness and not just the height upwards, but that it really works on the entire time axis and means both. Alright, cool. That means we are now marking a zone together. That's easy for now, so let's go back to the screen recording. This time we only want certain objects. Delete them. So, and that means we're now going into the zone here. We have to mark a square here. I've switched on dev mode at the top, so you can see what you've marked afterwards. That's very practical for the developers. Then you can drag it onto the server and happily set your markers. Check that everything fits. Out the back. Then you turn off the dev mode again and can simply drag the finished product back onto your live server. The outer zone or the out zone defines another extra zone. This means that when you enter the outer zone, it starts deleting the content. So everything that is deleted here, it starts to delete via the outer zone. By default, you can set nil, which is then generated automatically. Here there is also a distance, which you can then set practically. Solves all problems. Of course, you can also manually determine the operating range from which you load in, and out. It's very relaxed. Alright, otherwise we just had the option, we can either say delete, which means all the props it finds in there can be deleted. But we can also say specific objects should be removed. What I'm doing now is very easy for now that I'm going to walk around a square here and get the coordinates. In other words, I'll make a quick stop here. Find the coordinates here. From the point. I'll do that once now. Then we'll restart the script so that we can take a look at the marker. If the zone is marked, it looks something like this. I've made it a bit rough, that is, I've now set a corner point here, a corner point back there and a corner point here. Then we have a nice marking of the zone here, so to speak, which means that work is being done in there for us so that we know what's going on. In terms of scripting, not much has changed yet. I left the thickness at 10, because that's enough. Everything is relatively close to the ground, so nothing needs to be removed at the top. And now we're going to take care of this object, which we've ignored until now, which means we can now do the following. We're going back in game, we can now use the SPOONI spooner. Turn on the marker somewhere else here and then we can start working in here. I don't want to get this away and then we're basically done. That would be such a small area here at this point. Jules says import export, look for the leader here, let's export that. I now have the three objects in here and as you can see, it's exactly the same as what's in the script. That means I can now copy it out here and then go back again. Wait, I'll take you with me, then go back again. I have selected the object, copy it in here. Now I have all the objects in here that I selected at that point. So, that means now even if I restart the script once, it gives me a little moment. We'll restart it once and then we'll see you again soon. So, the script has been restarted. The whole thing now looks like this, of course. We have now defined a zone, which is now all gone here. At this point. That's how it has to be. I don't have a player on anymore either, I stopped it earlier. Above you have a few prints of leaders that have taken away your props and that's it. If you want to finish it now, I'll just do the def mode in the background. At the top, set the option back to false. We can just do that together. That's not an issue. I still have the console open here, restart delete once. Now the debug things are also gone and it is clean. Tidy, clean. You also have the option of setting a distance at the bottom of the objects. The spooner automatically exports a distance of 0.1 for this object. However, this is due to the fact that sometimes objects can duplicate each other, i.e. sometimes the same wooden board is next to it 3 times, then you can do it like this, for example you enter the wooden board here once, then increase the distance and it indirectly solves all problems of this kind within this distance. If you only want to get rid of a single object and there is still the same prop next to it, you can set the distance to 0.1. That it also searches for this one prop and ignores the others. If you set the height, it deletes everything in the vicinity that has this designation. Of course, this applies to all objects. Then you don't have to enter the same wooden plank 5 times if you want to get rid of it 5 times. You know what I'm getting at. Well, that's it for this topic. That was still very important for you to know so that you know how to do it properly with the objects. Alright. With that in mind, I hope you have a pleasant day. Have fun redecorating or tidying up your map. I wish you something. Thanks for watching and have fun with the SPOONI prop deleter.